Hello, everyone. I apologize having to do this online, but I just happened to have a dentist appointment at the exact same time as a seminar. Let me share my screen so we can get started. All right. So my presentation is called Ruin and Redemption. It's on the unfinished yet abandoned buildings in China. So this started as a photography project back in 2019, and I kind of want to look at architecture as a microcosm of humanity and also as a lens to examine our relationship with nature and the past. So these houses are half finished, just left unoccupied, sometimes sitting in the middle of nowhere, overgrown with wild grasses. And these houses went untended or unfinished because the developer ran out of money. And this one is pretty interesting. It's in my hometown. It's a abandoned museum, and there's just this statue of the head of a Buddha just sitting among wild grasses and trees, left there, just chilling. That was pretty funny. So to truly understand the whole situation, you have to know a little bit about the real estate market in China. So basically, it's super unregulated. A lot of developers are mounting tremendous amount of debt, and they're going bankrupt, which are causing huge issues for people who are paying for the houses because now they're without money or houses. And affordability has already become a huge issue. This is a visualization of the market I made like 2 years back. And you can see a lot of the housing prices are growing at like 20% per year because people are using houses as investment options. And this causes issues for people who actually need houses. And this also drives the developers to take higher and higher risks. And this has become a really sensitive topic. I've tried to get in touch with the government to get a rough estimate of the situation, but I was told repeatedly that these are actually marked as highly classified information by the CCP's infamous Social Stability Task Force. So yeah. And there's also another aspect of this issue, which I thought it's simultaneously weird and really interesting, and it's over construction. So this is another kind of related project called Line 7. It was done in a city called Kunming in southern China. So basically, this is the Line 7 of the city's metro system. And it's the portion where it goes from the bottom, from underground to above the ground and onto elevated roads. And this is actually left unfinished, as you can see here on the gaps in between the elevated roads. And I don't know if you can just tell from this how weird this is, because this is a metro line, which usually goes through the busiest districts of the city, but it's going through acres after acres of farmlands. And so I went and photographed it. This was like the epitome of overconstruction, and it was halted later by the national government for how ridiculous it is. And you can just see these half-built abandoned subway sitting in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, I want to talk about this because, the U.S. is having some similar issues, but in a different way, right? We are having more than 7 million of houses abandoned every year, and more than 300,000 buildings are demolished annually in the U.S. Now, at this decade, we've come close to the time where we have to deal with the remains or the aftermath of the massive construction we had in the past century. And how we decide to interact with these structures is going to be a very important topic in urban planning. And I found this book, which I decided to name my presentation after. I have it here, called Ruin and Redemption. It started with talking about some pretty interesting abandoned structures. On top, you can see the Marine Stadium right off Miami's coast. And then on the bottom, the Olympic Stadium in Greece. And on the right is the Pyongyang Hotel in North Korea. So there are some of them are fully built, left abandoned. Some of them are half built and never finished. But more importantly, this book talks about the redeemed, reimagined, and repurposed abandoned buildings. On top left, you can see this, I believe, is in London. It used to be a pretty big grain silo, I think, and was repurposed into public spaces. And on the bottom, this is also in England. It's the Leverstoke mill, and now it's also repurposed into a different architectures. And living in Pittsburgh, we're definitely not short of any abandoned industrial structures. So on the right, this is Pittsburgh's waterfront. On top, you can see it was the Hazelwood Green. It used to be one of the busiest steel mills in Pittsburgh. And now you can see the only structure left, which is the Mill 19. And now it's actually home to a collaborative innovation space for CMU's College of Engineering. And this, just a few months back, actually hosted the US-EU Trade and Technology Council meeting, which I found to be pretty fascinating. So this concludes my presentation on these weird, abandoned, but unfinished buildings. I hope this provided some cool insights into how we interact with the nature, with the structure we build, with the space we inhabit, and also kind of the history, the past carried by these structures. Hope you liked it. Thank you.